So it is Tuesday, the 6th of December. It is 8:30 p.m. UK time. It is 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. And that's because I've got guests from the other side of the world, from Canada and US. And this is a new show called Behind the Streams. There is so many amazing raid events now on Twitch. And I thought it'd be a really good idea to start talking to people behind some of these raid events. And one of them which has been going for a long time, I think 128 episodes or shows, and each week, each Friday night has been going, is Funklectic. I've been on it a few times, and I'm always honoured when I get invited on. And so I thought we'd get a couple of people on to talk about it. Obviously, Maculate, who put it together, and Tanner, who's a massive part of Funklectic. Find out more about the raid event, some of the guests, what it promotes, where it's going, Twitch, some other things like that. But anyway, here we go. We have got Maculate and Tanner. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good, thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming on. Thank you also for obviously the guest invites. I don't know how many times. It must be 5 times, maybe 6 times, something like that. I've been on, and I always love coming on because it's a really good vibe, really good community, amazing music from lots of brilliant people around the world. And hello to Mondo Kush already. But let's start at the beginning. You know, Funklectic, you've just sent me, Mac, a thing of the first one, and I think it was let me just double check the date. It was the 3rd of July, 2020. So 128 weeks ago. So let's start from the beginning then. So at that time, back in July 2020, you know, what was your situation in terms of streaming, and how did you come up with the idea to start this raid event?
So let's see, rewinding back a little bit to April of 2020, there was a Westwood Recordings Twitch event that the Funk Hunters were taking part in, and Dunks from the Funk Hunters sent me a message saying that he wanted me to send him some videos for the stream that he was doing. He used a few of those videos in the stream. I had been thinking about starting streaming, so I started that day. Though I thought it was important that I got a green screen. I got a video card and started streaming about a month after that. So that was in May, I guess, after I got my video card and everything. I think they were like back ordered with everybody that was starting to stream during the pandemic. Yeah. So I guess I've been streaming for a couple of months, mostly streaming on another channel other than my channel, a channel called Pittsburgh Funk Fam, a group of fellow DJs in Pittsburgh, basically throwing in-person events together and then virtual events during the pandemic. I wanted to create a weekly Friday event. I wanted to do it with friends. I wanted to do it with a focus on video DJing, music videos. My biggest passion is people that know me, and we went from there. The other big feature of it that was really important to me and was, I guess, selfish in a sense. When I do my sets, I really like to do very eclectic sets, do lots of different genres. Lots of different feelings throughout, lots of different tempos. And so I wanted an event that reflected that. And then with a core of funky music, my favorite style of music. So
Hence,
went from there.
Funklectic, yeah, funky and eclectic sort of thrown together.
That's it.
Does exactly what it says on the tin. Is we say that in the UK? Do you say that in America? Is that a phrase in America?
It is not.
It is not. Okay, there you go. It's a UK thing.
Explain it to me really quick. That's what it says on the tin.
Yeah. It does exactly what it says on the tin. Yeah. So whatever it says
on the label, basically.
Yeah. And obviously, this first event was Fletch, you, and Tanner. So I know that you and Tanner, I'm getting this right, aren't I? You hadn't met in person by this point. Is that right, guys? You hadn't.
That's correct.
Correct. Yeah. So when did you meet online, for example? Because I think it's quite a long time ago.
I'll let Tanner take this. Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you guys hook up online, music video wise, effectively?
Yeah, so being a video DJ, always looking for dope audio and always looking for video, making video edits. It was awesome to find DJ Maculate had his YouTube channel all linked up with some amazing video edits right from the get-go. And so over a decade ago, when I was DJing at a small little pub where I was connected to a TV and we had a screen, and I would use my video edits plus I would use Maclet's video edits too, and then I would post them on Serato. I'll post the playlist through Serato, and so it was cool that Mac could actually see his name being used by another DJ, and then that started our journey. We were both on Vimeo, and we connected out, and we just like minds. We just connected right away.
And were you streaming at that time as well, or had you only just started when the first Funklectic?
Just started DJing at a bar and just started to use video DJing. I saw like Peanut Butter Wolf was the first DJ I saw use the have the fader go up, have the video being controlled by Serato, and then I decided, you know what, I would love to get into video mixing as well as buying 45s and records.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I I used to do a tiny bit of video, well, a little bit of VJing at the early days, but this was before Serato and all of that. It was sort of using our Chaos, and I had a little MIDI keyboard, but basically just drop little clips while I was DJing music, and it was a lot of fun then. But obviously, what you guys can now do with Serato and video DJing is just a whole nother level. It's pretty amazing. I'm just going to say hello to a couple of people while we're in the chat. We got Groove the Most. Hope you're doing well, brother. There was a good stream for you at the weekend. Scotty Boy. We got Mondakoosh. Obviously, been on Funklectic. We got Twitch, one of my mods. Great to see you, and Double P as well, one of my other mods. And it's interesting you mentioned the YouTube channel because I was showing Zizi, my daughter, Singing in the Rain. And I said, oh, there's this brilliant remix of Singing in the Rain. And we're sort of clicking through YouTube the other day. And obviously it's one that you've done, Tanner. As a remix of Singing in the Rain with, I can't remember, the sort of remix that they used for the VW commercial.
You sure it's not me? I did it.
It's Mac. It's Mac, yeah.
Sorry, Mac. Yeah, not Tanner. Sorry, yeah. That's my mistake.
It's a common mistake because Tanner and I make, there's probably 40% of the videos that we've made are videos for the same tracks, I guess. Something crazy like that. We have such a similar taste in music.
Yeah, but it's so cool because obviously I'd seen that video in the past before I sort of knew you through sort of Twitch, and then obviously we're looking at this and I'm like, oh, Maculate, that the guy who you come and watch because she sits here and watches and loves all your Disney videos and all the art stuff and some of the anime stuff. So it's really cool to be able to sort of say this is who that does that remix, which is cool. Okay. So Funklectic 1, July 2020. There's you two and Fletch. How was that first one? Because obviously this is still quite early days for sort of Twitch DJ. How did that go? Did you have many people in, or was it sort of a slow burn?
What a great question! It was so long ago. It's like how many people were there? So I guess I opened the. I told you I sent you the Facebook link.
Yeah, we got the link there. Yeah.
There's a little bit of a gauge there. What it says: 21 people responded on Facebook. I think that's actually really good. I would say for the time. I think we had already been doing some events like with Pittsburgh Funk Fam, and some other things, and had started to build, I think, a pretty good little community, I think, before Funklectic even started, just a little one. So, I think there was a little base when it started, but I guess it was probably 20, 30 people, something like that, would be my guess. But I remember having, a really positive reaction to it of, hey, that went really well. Basically, yeah, I'm going to keep this going.
We got one of the forthcoming new 45 kids making a debut on Christmas Eve in a couple of weeks. So it's good to see that. We've got a quick question from Groove the Most before we carry on. Were any of you all on Chew TV?
I don't know what Chew TV is.
No,
it sounds kind of familiar, but no.
No, I don't know. Sorry, Groove.
Sounds maybe like a precursor to Twitch or something like that.
because it's interesting. Now you've sent me that link for that date. I think the first big stream we did on 45 Kings was in July 2020. So it must have been around that time. I don't have the date to hand, but it was around the same sort of time. So we sort of started. At that time, we didn't really know what we were doing. You know, we did a 24-hour stream. We basically sent a stream key out and said to people, right, here's your slot, you know, trying to battle with time zones and all the rest of it.
That's what we were doing too.
Yeah.
We were doing it all on one channel, on the Pittsburgh Funk Fam channel for the first, I don't know how many Funklectics, first like 15 Funklectics or something like that, which was really interesting.
Especially when you do it, because obviously you look back now, and now it's like you just send someone a stream key, they know what they're doing, everyone's set up. But back then, it was, you know, have you got the right setup? Have you got the right camera? Have you got the right audio? Is your visuals going to be looking good? So it's amazing how different things have changed. So first 15 were on there. So when did it then become more of a raid event like we sort of know it?
Yeah, I'd have to go and look at like the exact date, but that would be my guess. It was like there was a bunch of Funklectics that were on Pittsburgh Funk Fam channel, and it was like, I would say it was nice to have it all organized in one spot. It's like people know, okay, it's Friday, it's Funklectic, like I'm gonna go to this channel. Other than like now you got to kind of hunt it down and like find the schedule and stuff like that. But I think just being on people's channels, you get a lot of benefits from that as well. So that's my guess, somewhere around like Funklectic 15. We decided to try it, I think, and it worked great. So we just went from there, and it helped build everybody's channel rather than just building like the one Pittsburgh Funk Fan channel.
Well, that's definitely one of the big things about Twitch, isn't it? You know, everyone builds, and we all share together. And we've discussed on this, on some of the shows, about the difference between sort of Mixcloud and sort of Twitch live streaming. I think Mixcloud doesn't have that sort of raid or hosting which Twitch used to have, and obviously we've just now got an auto hosting. But certainly being able to raid into channels and being able to share and host has helped everyone.
Yes.
And it's building the community, isn't it? And I mean, Tanner, how did you find, you know, going from from suddenly finding yourself streaming regularly? Because I think, am I right in saying you've been on every single one?
Yeah, back when it started, when I first started, I wanted to have like all original, all video edits that no one's seen pretty much, and do like original sets. And then I was taking 2 weeks in between each Funklectic to try to pump out like 20 new video edits and try to make it original. But then we started to grow organically, and then it just became so much like love for the actual Fridays, and each week being able to go and DJ for other friends around the globe and fam. It just became more important just to go on weekly instead of trying to come up with new material bi-weekly.
Because obviously, Mac, you've been on one of my shows before, and we've talked about the sort of amount of time it takes. Can you give us an estimate of how long it takes to do a new video, each of you? So, Mac, how long do you think it would take you to do, if you got a song today, from finding the visuals, getting it done, and getting it ready for Funklectic? How long do you think that would take?
It's a great question, and it really ranges from like a simple edit to a complex edit is kind of how I look at it. A simple edit is something I'd say is taking the original music video for something and then just taking an edit or a remix of it and editing it so the two fit together. That would be something simple. That, quickest, probably like 15 minutes or so to do it right, 20 minutes, something like that. The complex edits, like the ones where I'm cutting up an entire movie or an entire TV show, especially the ones where I'm syncing up the vocals from animations to music, which I really like to do. Those used to take me really long. So I'd say those used to take me probably like a couple of days of work. Now though, after like a decade of doing so many of them and just getting quicker and quicker, it's probably like 5 hours or something like that. And then as far as like the collecting of the samples, that's like a big part of the job. And that's just like an ongoing thing that I've been doing for the last like decade. So I don't necessarily include that, but that is part of the process as well, as like digging for the stuff that you're actually gonna make the video from.
And I think from last time you just showed me tons and tons of hard drives, sort of over and over, just tons of hard drives full of videos.
Yes,
which is crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what about you, Tanner? What about you? How long would you say?
Yeah, same process. Something simple.
Your microphone, Tanner, again.
Was that feedback in? It all depends on the complexity of the. No,
Kill the mic. Kill the mic. For now. Is there another?
I don't think you might need to come back in on that other channel. Yeah, Dalek, as Double P says, sadly.
Yeah.
But okay, well, we had a little issue. We thought we'd sorted it.
Well,
but,
you fixed it before, Tanner. Do you know how you fixed it before?
I didn't do anything.
Okay.
Is it still making feedback now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tanner, do you want to come in on the other laptop, and then we'll just do it off the desktop mic, maybe?
Sure.
What up, DJ Double P? Double P's supposed to come on Funklectic this Friday.
Yeah, he's making his
debut.
Making his debut. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about that then. Whilst Tanner's sorting out the microphone. So, in terms of guests, you're obviously in charge of all of it, and you organise it. How do you go about finding guests and sort of inviting people and getting them involved in the community?
It's a great question. I think from the beginning, again, I wanted to all the way at the beginning, I wanted it to be focused at least at some level on like music videos. So there's like that's a small like percentage of the people that do stuff on Twitch.
Yeah.
So it quickly like expanded beyond that. And then it was basically finding people that I think fit the general music vibe that I like to play, which tends to be, again, funky music, eclectic music, oftentimes some like with a little bit of filth to it, a little bit of bass to it. And so reaching out to other people that were playing similar things. And I really loved having like new guests and meeting new people and getting to know them through Funklectic. So I think it's something I've definitely prided myself on, is trying to find new guests, which is a combination of just being on Twitch and hearing about people and checking them out. And oftentimes people will come to me and say, hey, I want to come play Funklectic, which is awesome. And oftentimes, it's a yes, come play Funklectic.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of how Twitch works, isn't it? You know, you might get raided into a channel, or someone introduces you to someone, or someone says you need to check this DJ out or check that DJ out. And again, it's the sort of growing community. Let's try and unmute Tanner. I think he's muted at his end. But yeah, no, it's great, and you know, I've always been very honoured to be part of it, because obviously I play some eclectic music. Obviously, I'm not always doing music videos, but it's great that you've managed to sort of expand. I mean, at a rough guess, do you know how many guests you had over the 128? Have you got a spreadsheet? Maybe you've got a spreadsheet that tells you.
So there's been two giant. I guess there's been a lot of really big Funklectics, but there's been the two really big ones were Funklectic 50 and Funklectic 100.
Yeah.
Those I really went all out to try and get as big of a lineup as I could. For each of those, I went and counted all the different guests. So that, the last time was Funklectic 100, which was 28 weeks ago or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, no, I don't think this is up to date. I didn't count this. Let's see. I think at Funklectic 50, it was 77. So let's see. Yeah, and now I'm somewhat remembering that it was like 120, something like that for 100, which would make sense. It's a similar pace. And so add another 30 or so to that, I would say.
Yeah, and I guess it's sort of, back at the beginning, different people were streaming who may not necessarily be streaming now. And obviously new streamers have come online. So obviously there's always going to be new guests and always new people to sort of check out, which again is another beauty of Twitch and another beauty of what we do. But in terms of that, obviously it's important that you have a good mix. And when we were talking about doing the show, you were like, well, the people who we should try and definitely get on is obviously Tanner, because he's been on pretty much every one, and then Betty Wax, who was supposed to be on today, but sadly she's got an in real life gig, so she's not make it. And then the other person I think who's number 3 was Steve from Fort Knox 5.
Fort Knox 5, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your relationship with him, and how that sort of connected, and how he ended up on
Yeah,
Funklectic.
yeah. Such an amazing and big part of Funklectic. So I've been listening to Fort Knox 5 for over a decade, you know, a really long time. I'd always been a fan of Fort Knox 5's music. And during the pandemic, would go and check out Steve Raskin's stream representing Fort Knox 5. And he was doing a regular Friday stream, I think through most of the time that Funklectic was going on. Maybe he started a little bit after. But basically, it turned into this thing that, like, he had his stream and we had our stream at the same time. And I think it was actually DJ Tanner who said, "Hey, like, what if we just had Steve come and play, you know, on Funklectic rather than doing a separate thing?" And I think it was like a one-off idea. And of course, I'd love to have Fort Knox 5 on there, so I reached out to him, and also reached out with the idea, "Hey, like, let's make this, let's do it every week." And Steve was super cool with that. We basically combined our parties, which was a lot of the same people that were going to both of them. So rather than being torn between the two, they just could come to Funklectic. Steve has a really, really big following, and a really big following in the type of music that I play and that we were playing at Funklectic. So it, I think, was one of a few factors that really brought Funklectic up another level of having somebody of his stature be not only like a resident DJ, but like a playing every single week. So he's played over 50 of them at this point, maybe 55, something like that.
And I guess again, the benefits of Twitch and what you do and what we do with some of our events is the collaboration.
Yeah.
You know, in the real world, you know, things might have been different. It might have been like, right, we're doing a party over here, you're doing a party over there. You know, we're not going to collaborate. We're going to run our thing, and you're going to run your thing. But with Twitch, it's very much like, let's all get together and let's make this a much bigger thing.
That's the beauty of it. It's everything
amazing
on Twitch. It is what as soon as like I learned about just like the features that support that on Twitch, it's what I think really made me fall in love with it, is this idea of supporting other people, and bringing parties together, through raids or through combining them like we did with Fort Knox 5, all that kind of stuff. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and I mean it's a 24-hour party. You know, it doesn't stop, and there's always something going on, and then you're raiding into the next one, and then raiding into the next one.
Yeah.
Right, you're sitting in front of a green screen, and obviously that's a big part of what you do. And obviously Tanner, I'm hoping we can get Tanner back on at some point during the show. Is that it, or do you have a bigger green screen?
So I bought a second one at some point, and I was using a bigger one. It kept getting uneven lighting. That's the thing about green screens. You really need to have like the even lighting. So like just like the where I have it situated, which is like in the corner, it was difficult to get that even lighting, and it was looking terrible. So I basically sacrificed it again to my old setup, which is just this single one that I bought all the way back in April of 2020. And it's like it's a smaller space, but it's very consistently a consistent material, much easier to light it consistently.
Because it's interesting. Obviously, it's probably it's a different camera, obviously, when you're streaming.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that what looks like quite a small green screen there is sufficient, because you're normally standing up DJing as well, to be able to sort of cover the whole screen. And on a very technical level, are you running two different computers? Are you running a streaming and then a visual computer, and then obviously Serato as well?
I am, I think especially for video DJs, it can be done all on one computer. I know Aiden Scott was doing it on one computer for a while. I would not. So I video DJ on this computer right here. and then export my or link up my video output to a streaming computer over here, and then my audio comes out from my DJM S11 right here. Both of those are going to a video card that's going into the streaming computer.
Yeah, so it takes a lot of power and a lot behind it, and obviously, like you say, lighting for all of that. I think we might have Tanner back. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can add him back in. Tanner, how you doing?
Yeah, all right. How's it going?
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Welcome back.
You're no longer a Dalek, as Double P called you earlier on.
Yeah. Yeah, turn off
So
the
that's
volume.
cool.
Okay.
I'm making a big assumption that you both know what Daleks are. Is that right?
So I think when he said it, I didn't know what it was, but now here's my guess. Okay, tell me if I'm right. Is this Doctor Who?
It is Doctor Who, yeah.
Boom.
Exterminate. Is that something you've seen, Tanner, or not?
No, unfortunately. I don't watch too many movies.
I actually haven't seen it, to be honest, but I've seen it referenced in so many things and heard people, talking about it.
I mean, considering both of your individuals, both of your sci-fi.
I love
stuff
sci-fi.
well.
I love sci-fi.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. There'd definitely be a lot of visuals that you can probably rip from a lot of that.
Fair enough.
So yeah, a couple more people say hello to Mr. Musto. We've also got Barty Cuts, who I'm hoping to talk to in the new year with Dr. Bresty Cray about Slow Mo Monday, which is another a raid event that I'm sort of take part in, and we're going to read that. Right, Tanner, we got rudely interrupted. How do you go about when you sort of edit videos? And maybe a little bit techie. What do you use in terms of software or potentially even any hardware to sort of do that?
Yeah, I'm stuck on using Final Cut Pro 7, and I'm always digging for HD quality, high quality video. Always trying to find the highest quality video to make video edits with. I dig. There's a place called centralbox.com online. It's the underground video community, which is wild. Okay. And I was using Final Cut Pro 10, but then I went back to I'm just quick using Final Cut Pro 7. I try Ableton and Evo Suite, but I'm not as in tune with Ableton.
And how long do you think it takes you to sort of put together a video? Obviously, you were saying that you at one point at the beginning you were creating new videos for each show. How long would you say it takes you from start to finish?
Yeah, it's probably like 1 to 5-6 hours per like video edit. 2-3 hours average, maybe more. Yeah, it takes a while to make a video edit sometimes.
It does. Yeah.
Thinking up those vocals is hard work, isn't it, Tanner?
And it's funny making video edits and seeing the old edits that they're not as sync. They're not up to sync, so you have to even adjust the original video.
Man. I was with my girlfriend. She was pulling up some old videos that like watching, of mine, and I'm watching. I'm just like, my hands are in front of my eyes. I'm like, this is not as in sync as I remember it being.
Is it a case of you just leave it, or have you ever been tempted to go back and re-edit?
Well, you can't, like, at least on YouTube in certain places, you can't like replace the old ones. No. I guess you could like if you really cared that much, you could delete it and like put up a new one. But it's like I don't care that much. And it's like the thing is like most people they don't notice like the subtleties that like Tanner and I are going to notice because we're so like in tune. Looking at the small details, they'll feel it, and it'll feel much better if the more like in sync it is, but it's like not enough that it's going to like ruin the experience of watching it,
Yeah, definitely. And Tanner, as far as you're concerned, Funklectic, so what difference has it made to your sort of your life, your career in terms of DJing?
It's the Fridays are just the best. There's just that extra push, extra inspiration. It means a lot to just continue to build, to find someone in your lifetime who does the same thing or similar things as you, Mac. So much love, and just continue to keep building. And it's incredible how many other DJs from around the globe have joined us in Funklectic. So yeah, it's monumental. Like I put my heart and soul into every time I can stream a show.
It's amazing. And I'm assuming, like Mac, you've made a lot of friends through the streaming and through being part of the community as well.
Correct. I was lucky that I linked up with Farsby Funk before COVID,
Yeah.
and I was doing live shows in Toronto, doing visuals for other DJs like A Skills, Scratch Bastard, Crafty Cuts, Fornox 5, Gaff, Sticky Bud, Slink, Killa Kella came through. There's a lot of awesome global DJs came through Toronto, and I was lucky to be able to sync up videos and visuals and work with the artists before they came to try to get like maybe like 10 or 20 video edits for their set.
Yeah.
And so that was cool.
That's really good. And then it must be nice then seeing them online and being able to sort of link up. Obviously, when we were sort of all locked up and couldn't go anywhere, it must have been great having that connection already to then be able to sort of follow through online.
Unbelievable. Like way past anything I would ever imagine when I started DJing like 24 years ago. I never would imagine any of that would be in order. Yeah. It's incredible.
Cool. We've got a couple of little videos. Let me play this one first. So this is someone who's been on Funklectic and is part of that. So
talk about Funklectic. And what better way to do that than during Funklectic with DJ Tanner closing us out this week. So I got involved with Funklectic kind of fall of 2020, was around the time I was getting more involved with Twitch. And I think it's been so successful because Maculate and Tanner have been working so hard every week to put on a show, and Maculate books a lot of people from the community. Every week has a lot of people that we know and love, and DJs small to large, and I think that's a really special thing. I think the other reason why it's been such a great thing is that the fam in the chats, we kind of have like a crew. We kind of have a lot of fun banter each week, and it really has a fam vibe. We see a lot of the same people each week, and we also bring in new people. Maculate's such a kind-hearted person and just really helps the community out in all different kinds of ways, including helping me to have the inspiration to become a DJ myself in 2021. And it's the same for Canadian Break-In, and he's inspired a lot of people and helped a lot of people with all different kinds of things. So I can't wait to see what the future holds, and here's to another 100 weeks.
So that was Mondo Kush.
Lovely, Mondo. Thank you.
Wishing
Awesome.
well. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff that comes out of that, but like he says, you helped him get onto DJing and get onto Twitch. And, I know that from my own personal experience from getting people from the 45s community to get on stream. But I mean, that, how does it feel for you when you suddenly see these people who've been, people online or part of the community, and then they're streaming, and then you see them growing? What sort of effect does that have on you?
It's amazing. I think it's Sophie, Dr. Tunes in our community, who's dubbed me the DJ pusher. And I'm there like whispering in people's ears, like, do it. And I'm really proud of that. I think it's never been so, like, it's been a while, I guess, that it's never been easier to like start DJing in some capacity, to do it like relatively cheaply and easily. But like, what is so different about Twitch is that like there's actually a potential platform for DJs everywhere. That has not been the case. It's like to actually have like people to play for when you just get started out it's a miracle. Like, it's amazing. Like, you can get better a lot quicker. It's more fun, all sorts of things. So I think that's been amazing to see for so many of these DJs and friends in the community. And could not be prouder of what they've done.
And I think the other thing, like you say, it's amazing that people can get straight on and then they can build. But also you can pretty much play what you want. Like you said, you had you put together Funklectic. You said, right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do music videos, and Twitch, the platform, just does allow you to do that, which there's not many other places, certainly not in the live environment when you're going to go and do in real life gigs. You don't get the chance to sort of do that. So again, that's another bonus of what we do.
100%. Yeah, it has been life changing for me. Sort of what I was just saying about like DJs in general getting a platform from Twitch. Like I've got this platform that I didn't have consistently. Like it was occasionally there was places that were set up for video that I like found the right opportunity to go do it. But like Twitch, it's like perfectly set up for it every single time. Absolutely perfect for video DJs.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys have managed to do this in a live event as well. You did sort of a live Funklectic. So how was that? Taking this and then turning it from an online thing into a real live gig. And I think Tanner, you both of you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, Tanner, why don't you take that one?
It was again truly incredible to go from doing like 118 shows live like on Twitch, and then to get a chance to do in real life one live Funklectic was incredible. Mac, biggest ups, like seriously, came up from San Fran, drove up from Pittsburgh. We were lucky to do St. Catharines, which is 1 hour south of Toronto, and then do Toronto the next night with Make It Funky with Farsby Funk and A Skills. It was just all so natural. Like there was so much planning that went into it, but everything took place. It was just all natural and just incredibly fun. I don't know. It was just unbelievable to have that in real life experience, and we're looking to keep doing many more in the years to come.
So much fam from Twitch there at both of those shows, which was really special to see. People traveling far. I was not the only one traveling far that day, which is really cool to see. And as Tanner said, this is something that I've wanted to do, that we've wanted to do for a while, is like do these in person in different cities, bring these virtual parties to people so they can actually like dance with each other in person at a Funklectic. So I think you'll definitely see more of that in the coming years.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I've experienced as well with doing the 45 events is we've also met up in person and we've done various events around the UK. It's the fact that when you meet people who you've known online, who you haven't met before, it's like meeting an old friend, because you've shared so much experience, you've shared so much chat, you've shared so much banter or whatever in the chat, that when you do meet these people for the first time, it's like you've known them all your life. And it's been amazing, certainly for me. And I imagine you guys get the same sort of feel when you're meeting these people for the first time in real life.
Yeah, we had Tanner and I had an interesting like layers of elements. As he said, yeah, we've known each other for a decade. I think it was a decade in May is when Tanner first reached out to me, something like that. And so we've known each other virtually for this while, you know, sending videos to each other and talking and checking out each other's work. And then now this like new virtual layer where we're like, we've been doing shows together for Funklectic and other stuff through the Global Funk Fan. And then one more step after that is like finally meeting in person for this, for the first Funklectic live in August. Was it in August? I don't remember what
September, yeah.
September, yeah. After Burning Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so really cool, and definitely felt very much just like being with you know, a family member, a longtime friend.
And that's the word, isn't it? Family. A lot of people use that on Twitch, and a lot of people in the communities use that, and it certainly feels like family, extended family. Which is, yeah, again, something amazing that I don't think, like you say, you know, 2 years ago when you started Funklectic, you probably didn't think, you know, where it would get to and how it would progress. And I don't think any of us knew where our own sort of separate paths would end up. But it's amazing that we've sort of got to this point. Let me just play the video that you sent me, and then we'll talk about a couple more things. So this is the video that you did for Funklectic 100. So let's have a quick look at this. Wow. I mean, you just sort of look at that, and it's the great and the good DJs in this sort of genre and in the sort of style, but such a mix as well of DJs. It's amazing. Now, one name on there who comes up quite regularly and who was supposed to be on tonight, but obviously couldn't make it, is Betty Wax. Now, I remember seeing her at the beginning, and for me, it's been interesting to see her progression as a DJ, and in terms of scratching and sort of mixing and all the rest of it. So, talk to us about Betty and some of the other guests then. So, I don't know who wants to take. Mac, do you want to take this?
Yeah, Betty, I remember meeting in my chat a while back before she was DJing on Twitch. And she was, really friendly. And, Betty is, people that know Betty, she was Betty. Later, she started, I think I learned that she was a DJ, and then eventually she started DJing on Twitch. Finally, I got to catch her, and it's happened with several DJs where it's like, I do like to make it very inclusive and have, again, really eclectic mix and all sorts of different DJs, particularly people that like anything funky. But sometimes I hear a DJ and I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is a perfect fit for Funklectic, and Betty Wax was definitely that. As soon as I heard her, not only was the music selection, really similar to the style that I like, that DJ Tanner likes, that a lot of people in our community do. But her just engaging personality, her scratching so many things, that she went very quickly from a regular guest to a every week guest, like DJ Tanner and Fort Knox 5, when he has been less busy with shows and being a father.
Yeah. And it's great, we try and promote as many women DJs as well, as part of the 45 Kings community, and it's great to see her, as pretty much a resident, from what you're saying.
Yeah, no, she's definitely a resident.
Yeah. And it's good to see, and again, that's something that it's great to see on Twitch, a lot of women DJs out there, and being able to sort of promote them and try and, we're not quite 50-50 yet, but one day it might get there. Let's talk about a couple more things. So we're up to 128, 129 this week. Yeah. Am I right? It's just going to carry on.
Yeah. Indefinitely. There's times where I'm like, it's taking a little bit longer than it usually does to plan or something like that. But no, I love it so much. The community loves it so much. It's not that much work, particularly just like, it's nice to have a good group of people that that I have worked with for so many. Then it becomes a lot easier. It's just like finding the times and the days that work, rather than having to work out other logistics. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it going as long as I possibly can. There's, I broke the streak finally. I think it was earlier this year, of like missing my first Funklectic, and now it's been, I think, 3 total. So I think there will be lots of times in the future where I'm gonna miss them, thankful or hopefully, just by having awesome gigs or something that I'm doing, that I have to miss it. But Funklectic will keep going.
Well, you got Tanner,
as long as Twitch keeps going, Funklectic's gonna keep going.
Yeah, and it's still as exciting as it was at the beginning, I imagine. It hasn't. I imagine it hasn't changed. You still both love jumping on and streaming.
It's my favorite, particularly when I have a bunch of new videos. Tanner was talking about making videos every week for Funklectic. That's been my thing as well. As I always premiere all my new videos at Funklectic, and nothing makes me happier than premiering a bunch of new stuff. I love streaming on Twitch so much.
Yeah. Tanner, obviously we've had an issue with your Dalek microphone tonight, but you didn't normally talk much on the mic. In more recent weeks, you have now started. So tell us about that. Is that like a confidence thing of you talking more on the mic, or is it just a style thing, or what is that, do you think?
To be honest, it's just like, I just love the music so much. I don't want to talk. I don't want to mumble over top the music. So that's why I prefer not to. And I recorded a lot of my sets and I put it on Vimeo, but there's like over 100 Vimeo sets on there. So now I'm talking more because I don't need to record. all of them and whatnot. And it's more to be in the moment, and it's good to engage with everybody. The fam's so fantastic, Funklectic, so it's just awesome to engage more.
Because it's definitely part of Twitch, isn't it? You've got some DJs who don't talk at all. Some DJs who talk quite a lot. I talk quite a lot. I know, Mac, you talk a reasonable
way
amount.
too much. Way too much.
It's difficult to stop once you start talking. But that's Twitch, isn't it? It's the interaction, and people like that, and it takes it into a different level from just a DJ or just a VJ stream. It does become live entertainment. And I think that's that. But Tanner, I remember you saying when you came on All Back to Mine a little while ago, I think afterwards you said to me that was probably the most you'd ever spoken on Twitch up to that point.
In over a year on one show.
Yeah.
True.
On one show.
Collectively in that show. Add up all the other times,
A couple of other things then. So in terms of the music, is there particular artists who you regularly play who you think that's definitely a Funklectic artist? I think I know a couple that you're probably going to mention, and ones that you particularly make more music videos than others. So maybe if we start with you, Mac. So what particular artists would you think fall into music that you would play on Funklectic?
I mean, it's Funklectic was very much crafted in just originally in my the stuff that I love the most. And again, DJ Tanner and I it's almost the same. I basically I call us yin and yang, just like we're basically two sides of the same coin as far as music taste. Sometimes I'm a little filthier, and there's some extensions into other areas, but it's so similar. And so two of the artists that we sample the most, I think Tanner has emotes for both of them, reflecting how much we sample them. Wobble, WBBL, and Featurecast would be two really big ones. Two other ones that we know a little bit more personally, Crafty Cuts, A Skills. Two other really big ones. I'd say let's leave it at those four. But there's you could go on for another extension of that list to some other artists, but I think that's a good start for Funklectic.
Yeah, Tanner, anyone you'd like to add, or would you stick with those sort of four?
Yeah, Father Funk too.
Father Funk,
Yes.
Those are top five probably.
Yeah, good, great call.
He's moving to, if he hasn't done already, he's moving to Canada, isn't he? Very soon, or he's already gone?
No, he's not gone yet, but he'll be going soon.
Yeah, but I think you had him on.
He was on twice
recently, didn't you?
Twice recently. He was basically going to be on every week that he was free. Now he's going to be jammed up with the move, but he'll come back on after he gets there. He is always welcome on for sure.
Yeah, and great production. Yeah, I've met him once or twice, and he's great
tall. It was
he's very tall. Yeah,
I met him at Shambhala. Oh my god, I had no idea. I'd been such a fan. I'd made so many music videos for his work, and then he's just a giant. Nobody told me.
It's interesting because having met a lot of the 45s in the UK, I always think they're taller than they are, and then obviously you meet them in person, you're like, oh, you're about the same height as me. I think it's the camera that sort of makes everyone look.
That is the number one thing people say to me. Warning to anybody that thinks that I'm tall. I'm not tall. I'm average height, but I look tall because my camera. I don't have that set up for this, but I have it set up high. Everybody, they're like, I thought you were taller.
It's the trickery of the Twitch camera. Right, now obviously you guys both use, I'm correct and right, I know you use Serato. Tanner, are you using Serato as well?
Correct, yeah, Serato with Mix Emergency. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you're quite yet where Maculate is, but we were talking before the show a little bit about stems. Are you there yet or not?
No.
Not quite. All right, I'm
going to throw this yesterday. I'm true old school. I got old school laptop, old school mixer, got to upgrade everything.
Well, that is the part of the problem with all this new software. But we were talking about it briefly with Mac before we started. So let's dive into that because obviously it's quite relevant, and I'm sure there's quite a lot of DJs who might be watching this now or back who are using Serato, and I can see the smile. so tell us what stems means to you and what you can do with it, and what's going to happen in the future.
Oh man, can we do a whole show on stems?
We might have to do one.
I will. DJ Yamik says I met Mac. He's a good dancer. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Stems. Okay, stems means so much to me. I've always really loved, I started in music production before even I started DJing. So I've always loved like the construction of music, and particularly like breaking it down into individual elements and matching them up in different ways. And there was a point a couple of years ago where I was producing. I wanted like my DJing style to basically be I would take a cappella music videos that I would make, and then I would mix those with instrumentals or other elements to basically be this everything mashed up kind of on the fly feel. But it was really complex to try and keep track of all the different acapellas and different instrumentals and like what was on what track. But like in my head, there was something that I always envisioned. This like dream of having all of these different versions of a track stacked into one track, though, so that you don't have to worry about like having four versions of one track. Particularly hard when you're editing all your own videos, also. So stems, I heard about it recently. I didn't want to try it, just waiting for the stable version. But it just, from the first minute that I played with it, it completely blew me away. Just all of the different possibilities, what it opens up for me as a video DJ, what it opens up as a DJ. Like, I think I'm like overselling it, and I'm just like really, really excited about it. But it does feel like a sort of revolutionary concept in some ways. It's just like what you can do as a. I heard one DJ talking about it online as like they don't use their EQs as much. Like basically they don't touch their EQs. They're just mixing with stems. And like when I heard that, I was like, that sounds kind of terrible, or like, I don't like the sound of that really. But like messing, I basically cannot stop playing with it. I can understand it because it's like you can get these really, really clean mixes. You can really, when you're swapping out these elements from one drums to another drums or bass to another bass, that it's cleaner than you're gonna get with just EQs. And it's just so much fun what you can do with song construction you just couldn't do with these songs before. You could do if you got an acapella or put something in there, but again, it was just too complex. Where now all 9,000 plus music videos in my Serato crates, they are now can be acapellas, they can be instrumentals, they can be drum loops, they can be scratch fodder for all the like videos that I've already made. All of these things, it just unlocks so much creative potential.
And when you say it breaks it down, so you get your track in. So obviously you're saying you can choose the acapella, the instrumental, bass, drum. Is that the four? That's the four options. Yeah.
So it breaks it down. Every track it breaks down. You have like four different. It breaks it into four elements. So you have what it calls vocals, melody, bass, and drums. And so of course that's done, by smart, I'm sure, algorithms and frequency detection and these kinds of things, where it's like it's doing its best to guess. So like what I'm finding myself doing a lot is like I won't just mix the vocals for some tracks, although I will, is I'll add in like the melody and sort of like the two together layered. It makes a really nice mix with another song's instrumental or two elements from another for another song. Some tracks work better than others. Like, I think it just depends how much like the elements are bleeding together, how well it can separate. But I've been just amazed at how well it's breaking things apart. And I was telling you before the show, one really cool thing, I'm just discovering all these little cool things. One thing is like for acapellas, you can usually get a straight acapella from a song. You'll get the full rap from Biggie or whatever it is. What I like to play a lot, what Tanner likes to play, we play all these really interesting remixes and edits. And in those, it's like people are chopping up all these vocal samples and things. And so it's basically like with this method, you can get that as an acapella. It's like I can just take some of my favorite tracks that have really cool little vocal snippets and basically get that. And then you can like scratch that in or just play that over another song's drop that you've also cut the vocals out of perfectly. to like just make this perfect easy blend. Are we done with this interview yet? I'm trying to get back to playing with stems.
Almost.
I'm
Here's a
just
quick.
I'm messing with you. I'll be on
I know.
Soul Train. I'll be on Soul Train at 5, so I'll be messing around
Nice.
with it.
Yeah.
for
Here's
that.
here's a question though. So the tracks that you've been messing around with the stems, are they mainly like new tracks, new electronic tracks, or have you tried throwing in, say, an old funk track or an old soul? So
I'm
even
throwing
with those
everything.
things, it's
I'm
able
throwing
to sort of
everything.
wow.
I think just like mixing other tracks, like if I'm taking old tracks that are still the original live drummer, getting it
Yeah.
in sync is takes work, but no, like the separation and everything seems to still be working really well, and I'm loving doing that. I'm taking my dirtiest bass songs that I like to play and just throwing on some soul background that I'm getting the acapella or the acapella and the melody from, and layering on top of stuff.
Because that's pretty something. I could understand maybe with the technology and electronic music but if you can go back and literally do that to anything,
it's magic, and I'm guessing it'll just get better. Yeah, I had heard how that it was really good, but seeing I had to I guess test it to really see how quite good it is.
and here's the next question. Obviously, that's running digital files. Is there anyone who's said that it works using like vinyl and the
I
software somehow separating that out?
I think so. It analyzes the file. So here's, I guess it would
It would
just
have to
need
be
to
digital.
basically,
Yeah.
but like it's almost doing it in real time. I think like the newer computers can do it in basically real time. Mine, it takes like probably 5 seconds or something like that
Yeah.
while it's analyzing if I load in a new track that hasn't been analyzed before. So like what I'm saying is that I don't see why it's any different for vinyl. All it's doing though is basically taking the audio and
Yeah.
intelligently, filtering out things. So like it should be able to just take the vinyl and in real time, like filter out those same things is my guess. If your processing speed is fast enough, if you have a newer Mac.
Okay, here we go. We've got a couple of comments from people in the chat. So Barty reckons might be able to do it in under 5 years.
Says 5 years. I bet it's much sooner than that.
Yeah.
I think we're closer.
Yamek says no vinyl since the mixer is in analog mode for my Pioneer S7. So maybe it doesn't, but the live will still be some delay. Okay, well that's interesting. Right, one final thing from both of you is where do you think Twitch and streaming is going? Obviously, we've all sort of hit a plateau at the moment. Do you think it's going to change, or do you think it's going to be as it is now with sort of just DJs and raid events, or do you see something more coming in the future? I know that's quite an open question, but do you think there's something more coming or something different?
I'll let Tanner take that one first.
I saw on Instagram, Beardy Man had the VR.
Yeah.
So I think maybe Twitch might go over to VR land.
Wow.
That's a good mesh. But other than that, that's all I got. Yeah.
That's perfect. I've been one of my obsessions over the last 5 years has been VR. In fact, I was working in VR when I was in New York City, and the most popular game in VR is something called Beat Saber, and I've been obsessed with playing it again. And I think there is definitely an evolution of Twitch and things going on. And in fact, some people do like watch Twitch streams in VR and VR chat and things like that. But I think like a merging of the worlds, I think is coming. And that's what I'd like is basically, I wouldn't want to change anything. I want to still make my videos exactly as they are, but just basically have a screen in the virtual world that people can watch that and dance to it. Basically, that's it.
Yeah, a couple of things. The Beardy Man did a stream, I think, for Stream Raiders a little while ago, which was crazy, bonkers. but it's only when you go and watch some of these other streamers. So I think Sushi Dragon is a chap that somehow I think Tommy T recommended, and we ended up here. And he, you know, some of the stuff he was doing was absolutely crazy. You know, sort of jumping in from screens over there, and something's going on here, and you know, and it may well be that that's where DJing goes. You know, but yeah, I think VR may well be the way. Right, let me just set this right. You're on Soul Train. I think Soul Train's currently with Sam at the moment. I think so. Let's go and see Sam. He's a good friend of the show.
Love it.
Awesome.
Oh no, I did the wrong one.
But yeah, I think something I have learned though is like working in VR and AR is like there was part of me that wanted to be completely on the cutting edge, and part of me still enjoys that. But it's like there's always, and you know this better than anybody, there's always going to be room and interest from people that like it old school and don't want the really complicated stuff, because there is friction for it to put something on your head. Even for AR, it's like you at least need a phone, or will need some sort of glasses in the future. Like there's friction for it. So there's actually most people are still gonna want like the old school tech.
Yeah, definitely. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much, Tanner. I'm glad we managed to get you back on. It's been great to have you both. Thank you so much for Funklectic for 128 shows. You know, long may it last, and hopefully I'll make it on to another one at some point in the future.
Absolutely.
It's been a lot of fun, and you know, just carry on doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. We'll go and see Sam, and then we'll obviously see you in. Well, whenever you're on. I can't remember what time you're on the Soul Train, but it's going to be great. But otherwise,
3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. I'm on Soul Train.
Take it easy. We'll go and see Sam, and this show will be back on hopefully in the new year. Hopefully with Slow Mo Monday, we'll be talking all about that with Barty Katz and hopefully Dr. Breastkate, and maybe even Don Champ Sound, but we will see. But thanks so much, guys, and take it easy.
Thanks a lot, 45 Day. Appreciate it. All the best.
No worries.